afternoon on the ETBU Sportsnet, and welcome again to the ETB Extra Show. Hello, I'm Mike Midkiff here, and so far we've talked with Dustin Howard, the head coach of the Lady Tigers. Just got through talking with Taylor Alexander, a member of this year's Lady Tiger team, and now it's time to talk Tiger basketball. Head coach Bert West sent his assistant Michael Prather with us in today, and I stopped by the office yesterday and saw you breaking down tape or digital video of the last game University of Ozarks played, which is your team that you play tomorrow night at Ornelas. What do you see in that tape saying, hey, we got to take care of that?
Anytime you play a pressing team, you're a little bit wary of that because it's a high-risk, high-reward situation. They're going to be all up in us for 94 feet, and they drop back into a zone. So they're a little bit unique in what they do. They play really hard, so you're always a little bit concerned. Now,
notice that they score a lot of points. They're averaging 83.7 points per game, and had a player in their last game last Saturday in which they lost Texas Dallas by 68-64, who scored 24 points. And I'm talking about Kelby Robinson. How do you stop him?
His main thing is offensive rebounds. He's an energy guy. He will go back to the basket some. But we're pretty good in that department because we're long, so we're not too concerned about him catching it with us on his back. We got to keep him from getting the second chance easy points that we can't defend.
But I noticed, even though Kelby Robinson had 24 points in that win for the Ozarks Saturday against Texas Dallas, he also had 24 in a win against they lost to Hardin-Simmons 96-82, but he's not their leading scorer that you got to worry about. You got to worry about this kid named Josh Berard, who is their leading point getter.
Yeah, Josh was there last year, didn't do a lot, came off the bench as a freshman, and it appears as though he's improved a lot in year two, which is not uncommon. So we're going to have to guard him well. He handles the ball a lot, plays on the perimeter. If we do a good job, I think we'll be able to contain Josh.
Now, of course, Saturday you traveled to Seguin and had a non-conference game against Texas Lutheran University. Of course, TLU used to be in the American Southwest Conference, but now they play in the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. You won that ball game by a final score of 80-73. What do the Tigers take away from that victory?
That's a really hard place to win. Officials you've never seen before. A very old gym that's hard to play in, and they're pretty good. So anytime you can go way down there, travel the day before, play a good game and win in difficult conditions, we were happy with that. They play some pretty tricky half-court offense, very similar to what University of Texas at Dallas does to us. So that's why we put them on the schedule, to get a chance to guard some of that stuff. And we did well and got some really good practice guarding that stuff.
Now let's talk about some of the performances of your players in that win over Texas Lutheran by a final score of 80-73. Jamil Samuel, once again, 6 block shots in the game. How do you stop this guy? Well, of course, we don't want him to be stopped.
No, we don't. Jamil does a really good job blocking shots, but what our guys know and what we're trying to tell other people is that he's not the only post player we have that protects the rim well. That's one of our main emphasis. We try to guard the three-point line really hard with our guards. And as a consequence, they're going to get beat off the dribble some. So our post players are taught to run to the rim on the dribble drives, and Justin and Chad Herring do just as good a job as Jamil, but they do it in different ways. Jamil is so long and has a great knack for blocking shots.
Well, Jamil had 6 block shots in that ball game, 16 points scored for him, but your leading point getter in that game against Texas Lutheran, which you won to go 4-0 in the year, was Dylan Augustine, the sophomore, who lit up the nets for 19 points, 7 of 10 shooting. Boy, you wish you could do that every night.
Dylan is so quiet and unassuming. I'm sure that most people are really surprised when they see how good he is, how good a player he is, because he doesn't have an aggressive personality, but a great feel for the game, totally unselfish, and can pass, dribble, and shoot very well. And even though he's undersized, he might be 5'11", that's generous, and he's not overly athletic, but there's no substitute for being really smart, having great attitude, and he's highly skilled.
Of course, you play tomorrow night, 7:30 tip-off against the University of Ozarks. They come into Ornelas Gymnasium with a 1-2 conference record, 3-3 on the year. You're 1-0 in conference and 4-0 in the year. But then after you play this conference game, you've got a non-conference game against Rusk College Saturday at Ornelas. I guess that's not even on the radar, is it?
Not for the team. For us, it is. They scored 100 points last night and beat LaGrange University, another D3 school in another conference. So I'm sure they're playing up-tempo, which we like. But, again, when you're playing an up-tempo team, it's a little bit scary. So we're starting to get ready for them as well, their press.
With this non-conference game, right there in the schedule before you play University of Texas at Tyler on the 19th. What does it do for your team? How does it help your team get prepared for that next ASC game?
We've only played 4 games, and we had 2 scrimmages, practice games, so we just need to play. We need to practice running our stuff against other people to find out how they're going to attack it, how they're going to defend it, so we can learn to make adjustments. We've had 42 practices already, and we're tired of playing against each other. We need to play other people, don't care what they look like or if they're in our league or not.
All right, Coach, we got Christmas coming up. What have you bought me for Christmas?
Nothing yet, Mike.
Nothing yet?
I'm not going to lie to you.
Still working on it?
Mm-hmm.
Still working on it. All right, favorite Christmas memory for you?
Back home, my grandma made sugar cookies every year, and she passed this past year, so that'll be bittersweet. But every year we go home, and it was her special recipe that she had. So kind of those sugar cookies are representative of my favorite Christmas moments.
All right, I like that. You could make some of those. Get your wife to make some of those sugar cookies and bring them up here one Wednesday for the show. That'd be good.
It's a long shot, Mike.
A long shot. All right, final question. How good can this team be this year? Because I'm seeing a lot of good things happening. You got some players that come off the bench and fill roles at the right times. You've got some players that can score some points and shoot the three. I never seen this is one of the better teams I've seen on the court, and I've been calling Tiger basketball since 2010.
They've got a chance to be special, and we tell them that. They've got a chance to be not just good but great, because a lot of coaches say this, it's coach speak, but in this case it's true. They're unselfish. We have a lot of guys who do not care about personal stats, and that helps us pass the ball well. That helps our team defense, and we can shoot really good. We have inside players. So the coach from Texas Lutheran is a good friend, and he said we're hard to play against because we have so many ways to score on offense, and our defense right now is the best it's been in probably a decade. So if our guys will continue to focus on getting better constantly, this team could be special.
All right. Coach Prather has been our guest today here on E2 Extra, pinch hitting for the head coach, Burt West. Coach Prather, always good to see you and talk with you, and we'll look forward to seeing you after a Tiger victory Thursday night at Ornelas against the University of Ozarks.
That's the plan.
That's the plan, yes, indeed. Been visiting us, of course, I said Michael Prather, the assistant coach of ETBU Tiger basketball. Coming up next on ETB Extra, live from CC's in Marshall, Texas, we'll talk with one of the players on the team, senior Justin Felicia from Atascocita, Texas, and we'll talk with him next on ETBU Extra. We're live from CC's in Marshall, Texas.
Is thought of